Hello, everyone. We are live and it is Wednesday. You know what that means? Our usual say, hi, how you doing in real time. Woo! Okay, it's actually, give readings and advice and pray that I don't make anyone cry, but same difference, right? Same difference. But for those of you that are returnees, hi, welcome back. Definitely missed you. And if you are a first timer, welcome, welcome. To be able to get into the readings, it's definitely on a more or less first come, first serve basis. Directions are both in the comments and the description. All you really have to do is decide whether you want a 10-minute reading or a single card. 10-minute readings go for 15, single cards are 5. And then send the fee to smcrigger to either CashApp or Venmo. Then in the comments, ugh, goofy, derpy notifications. But anyway, but then after you got that squared away, comment paid and whether you use CashApp or Venmo, and then we go from there. Don't worry, I've always got a pen handy, so I won't lose track of who is where. And if you are a Patreon member, thank you, thank you. Your support is appreciated. Don't forget that your special code for everything is in your Patreon feed. Put the code into the Cash App or Venmo notes, not the chat, and just to make sure that we are completely copacetic on where you are, and we'll go from there. And if you are not a Patreon member, just a quick heads up, regardless of the tier that you grab, you get that lovely discount where instead of $5 for a single card or 15 for 10 minutes, it can go anywhere from $5 to $10 for your 10-minute reading. And as I said, $2 for a single. But depending on the tier that you choose, gets you also several free readings throughout the month. A nice little gifty gift when you initially sign up, and early access to my videos, such as my meditations, my teachings, my cooking videos. Okay, I guess not exactly cooking per se. I'm not going to show you how to make chicken. I'm quite sure that many of you already know how to do that, but more along lines of cooking oils for a certain thing or showing you how to use magic intention with your meals. Crazy, right? And actually also how to use food to rebalance your energy, rebalance your chakras, all kinds of fun stuff in the future. But also Patreon members get special privileges by getting to pick out what are some of my next videos. Something to keep in mind if there's something that you've always wanted to learn but never knew. Whew, that was a lot of talking. Sorry, I've been quiet all day, so I'm more than likely going to be a bit of a chatterbox. When I spend a long day of DoorDash and more or less just sifting through my thoughts, not a lot of talking goes on. And then when I realize, hey, I haven't used my words all day, suddenly they just all spill out. But as far as tonight, readings will be available for the next half hour, 45, maybe an hour, depending on how busy we get. If we get super busy, awesome. But otherwise, depending on how busy we get, we could be going until 6:30 or we could be going until 7. And collectives will be offered throughout just because, hey, need something to fill the space because you guys don't want to hear me yakking about my personal life. It is not nearly as interesting as it sounds, trust me. But if you guys would like to send good vibes, I do have a few manifestations cooking right now, so any extra help, fully appreciated. And speaking of extra help, I'm kicking around the idea of starting to offer a free single card reading at the 15-minute marks of my lives. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments. If you think it's a fabulous idea or if you are like, yeah, nah, because your opinions do matter. And speaking of opinions and getting some feedback from you guys, much like last time, I didn't get really a whole heck of a lot of feedback either in the last live or through personal messages on whether or not this was a good time for everyone to join. And if it is, excellent. But if there's a time and day that works a little bit better for you and might work a little bit better for others, definitely feel free to leave it in the comments on what you feel would work a little better, or if you feel a little shaky about that, fully understand. You can direct message Sam C. Sear, spelled exactly as my channel, to either Facebook or Instagram and let me know there. Oh, and other in case you missed it. So I had someone ask me the other day about how to connect better with their spirit guides, which led me to actually start making a full-blown short on it. So if you've been having troubles with connecting with your spirit guides, and you've probably seen one of my videos where you realize that you need to try and go back to the basics, try a new method, or even retry an old method, definitely check it out. It was posted 1:30 this past Monday. Something to think about. And if you're a bookworm, hi, you're not in bad company at all. But for my bookworms, you're going to love seeing that you can actually use bibliomancy to connect with your spirit guides. And for those of you that have never heard of bibliomancy, that's kind of when you use a book to get your messages. Full technique is, again, on this past Monday's one midday video. Should have been posted around 1:30 Monday. I would totally gladly get the link for you, but feeling a message, yeah. Okay, yeah, something's going on somewhere, because when I get a weird taste, like right back in here, yeah. Let's see what's going on. All right. So if someone is having some stability issues, and I don't necessarily mean like financial stability or your career's in jeopardy or anything like that. I'm talking about more internal stability, where your inner self is, your family, not necessarily blood family, but I'm talking like the people that are supportive of you. Looks like the relationship between yourself and, well, your inner self or your family is a little bit, it's not terrible by any means. Coming out sideways just means that things are starting to look a little shaky. So let's see what's going on with that and how we can't possibly help you out. All right. Well, definitely makes a little bit of a sense for this person, because, okay, definitely able to narrow down that this kind of shaky stability factor is more of an external thing. It looks like you and the people that are near and dear to you are having some discourse on how to prepare for things. You guys have a group goal, which is beautiful. I love the fact that you guys are at least on the same page as far as whatever that goal may be, whether it's moving or even just maintaining the status quo, whatever that goal is. It looks like you guys are definitely on the same page there. But this is where these two come in. You need to slow your roll a little bit, okay? You're going too fast. You're missing details. You're both, by both, I mean you and the person or people that you're working with, are missing details and making things not exactly as nice and tidy and easy as it possibly could be. Think of it like the spaghetti method. Messy, and it may or may not work, which is why we've got this guy here, the sideways hierophant. It looks like you guys need to definitely follow your traditional roles, whatever that may look like for you guys, whether it's as a traditional role as a couple, a traditional role as a parent and child, or even just your traditional role as two best friends. But you still need to think a little bit outside the box. You need to start looking at things from the other person's perspective, for one, and try and figure out how the both of you can mesh those two ideas to actually make those goals work and make sure that the structure of your guys' relationship, be it a familial one, a romantic one, or just a platonic one, make sure that this goes more into a upright and awesome direction. So I don't know who that was for, but if that was you, comment 4 wands and let me know if it helped you out at all, because it's definitely not a huge issue yet by any means, but we all know that a small problem can grow into a big one if it's not addressed and taken care of. Sometimes you get lucky and it kind of scoots on its own, but you got to remember, as annoying as it is, sometimes you just got to accept that the other person's opinion, however stupid you may think it is worth talking about and looking into. And actually, y'all remember me talking about spirit guides? I actually have a fun little spread just for that one. I wish I could throw it on the actual screen, but I just need a few more subscribers before I can start using my phone, which has that ability versus the webcam on my computer. But definitely feel free to share with your friends so that we can start having not only better quality video, but more views of how I do all this. But for the moment, so the spread is definitely a few different cards. The first one is, what is the message you're missing? The next card is, why are you missing it? What's going on that you're missing this message? The next card is how to do better with hearing those messages. Because, yeah, you know what's causing it, but sometimes you need that first step on how to get rid of that issue, and also what else your spirit guides would like for you to know. And actually, while I'm thinking on it, happy full moon, everyone. It is Libra. So if you have been having issues with keeping your hormones and your emotions in harmony, this is a great one. Or even making sure that you are putting up healthy emotional boundaries. Those are a couple of great things to manifest with this full moon. Regardless of if you're like me and dealing with rainy weather, you can still put out some moon water and gather that energy. But as far as spirit guide messages, this one is going to be for whoever okay. This is for definitely a Gemini person. And this Gemini has been picking up things fairly well. Good job. But you still have been feeling like you've been missing something important. You're fairly certain it's not at work. Let's see what your spirit guides are trying to tell you. Well, damn. Got a few going already. Okay, so we've got the message that you've been missing. Why have you been missing it? How to do better. And finally, any other messages? All right. So for our Gemini who's been having issues that you know are not at work, but you can't quite figure out what in the bloody hell's going on, I got you. You've been questioning too much about whatever vision you have on a personal level. Because I've got Newman and Pisces meditate and contemplate, and I've also got fixed moon hold your vision. So, my dear, your spirit guides are trying to tell you stop double checking yourself. Stop questioning if you're on the right path. Stop thinking that you need to completely reinvent something because the original vision you have is still valid, still accurate. It still needs to be a thing. You just need to go back to your why you are doing it and why it's your thing. And as far as why it's been such a pill for you to figure that out and seems like have faith in yourself, which by the way, I've got a meditation coming out tomorrow night. You might want to check into it, sweetheart. But it looks like you've just been through a bit of a patch from hell. We've got full moon in Capricorn, the end of a tough cycle approaches. So at least I can give you the good news that whatever it is that you've been going through, whether it's been post holiday financial stress, whether it's tax season nightmare, because I have a feeling that you're probably dealing with a lot of tax issues that you just don't want to deal with. And I don't blame you. But, or it could be even some family problems. Though I have a feeling it's more along the lines of something that is financial, but you know it's something that can be wrapped up in its own time, but in that time is approaching. Now, how to listen next time. So, right off the get go, I had 3 come out. And remember me saying that tough cycle? We've got Brother Raccoon, a safe place to go. You need to start giving yourself, whenever you're stressed out and just losing your marbles, my dear Gemini, you need to give yourself a space that you're able to just breathe, even if it's a space you have to build in your head. Quite literally, build a space where you can just decompress for 10 minutes and be able to process. Because stress is a part of life. I hate to say that, but it is. But it doesn't have to necessarily be your entire day. And we also have New Moon and Virgo, time to give rather than take. Here's the thing, all right? My gut's telling me that it's actually completely paired up with this full moon in Cancer. A personal issue reaches resolution. Sometimes, as much as you want to shut off and handle everything yourself, I get it. You need to give the trust to people that they will actually be there for you, that you can trust them to help you. And once you're able to loosen the reins a little bit, trust that they'll take care of things while you're decompressing, that is what's going to help you be able to hear your spirit guides even in stressful situations. And last but absolutely not least, for our Gemini buddy going through a ringer there, remember how I said the final card was, what else do your spirit guides need to tell you? Fairy bee, life is sweet. Even in these stressful situations, there's always something to be grateful and happy about. That's actually not only the comfort that we get through those situations, but how we attract abundance. We're better able to attract abundance when we're able to look around and say, you know what? This all sucks, but I still have A, B, C. If you're able to get all the way up to Z, air high five to you. Sorry, I forgot to grab a water before jumping on here. I got a little overly excited. But here we are, and just a quick heads up, I will only be live for another 15 to 20 minutes. So if you would like a reading, make sure you get in the queue soon because it's been a bit of a quiet night and this doesn't look like it's going to be much livelier than my day has been. So no offense to you guys, but I also have some other full moon fun to get to. And I'm thinking that, since I kind of did throw our buddy Gemini through a bit of a personal reveal, and if our Gemini that's going through all that junk would like to claim the reading, and if it helped at all, I hope it did, comment Gemini. I'd love to know that the reading got to where it was supposed to go. But since I did kind of do an overshare for our poor person that was the Gemini, I'll be my unfortunate self and throw myself under the bus and let you guys laugh at me. Because along with my tarot and my mixed oracle deck, I did grab my personal deck because my gut told me I'm probably going to be ripping up into some people. Not on purpose, but still things happen. So I guess so I can throw myself under the bus and make sure I'm just as awesome at being honest with you guys when it comes to myself, as well as making sure that you guys level up in the best way that I can help. Let's dig into my life a little bit, and let's dig into all right. I'm going to ask if one of my manifestations is going to come to fruition and what I can do to either encourage or what I can do to stop getting off track. Yeah. Well, there goes me overthinking real fast already. All right. So we got... Oh, that makes sense already. And what can I do to get it back on track? All right, so this is actually rather interesting already because I cannot pronounce the name of the type of deck to save my life, but it's my personal deck that also comes with what was called a negative arcana. So it's an extra 10 cards that give a little bit more of a modern view while still kicking me in the tail like I need every now and again. But the reason why I say that's interesting is because two of my explainer cards are actually from that portion of the deck. But off the get-go, it definitely looks like my manifestation that I'm trying to actually get into coming into being. Ironically, this fits very well, even though I'm not a fan of the answer. I've got a reverse fold, and the reason why this actually matches very well is because I am trying to start a new chapter in my life, or in a way kind of reopen and be new. It's a whole thing, but anyway, so essentially this is telling me no, that new chapter is definitely going way off course, and I'm not shocked because the first card that came out was my card called the Manipulator. this is telling me that I'm letting other people pull my strings, and those strings aren't necessarily pulling in the way that I know that I want to go. And I'm not necessarily seeing on how those, it's not necessarily manipulation in a negative way per se, but I'm letting myself be controlled by others, and that control isn't necessarily malicious, but it's definitely not letting me go in the direction that I need to go in order for my, come on brain, my manifestation to really go in the direction I need it to. My next card is the Emperor, which is rather ironic considering that just before it was the Manipulator. This is telling me that I need to reclaim my authority, put my boundaries on a better level. Instead of being a yes man from the looks of it, I need to be more of a controlled yes. I need to start actually paying better attention to all the things I'm saying. Sure, yeah, got it, on it, totally. And really just put my foot down and say, no. Even though, quite honestly, when it comes to some people in my life, I can't help myself. When it comes to some people's life, I will happily and gladly admit that, yes, I am a pushover. But last and absolutely not least, I have the reverse voyeur. So what this card is telling me that I actually need to start looking within and really taking a serious, clear, nasty, rip all of the window dressing off look. Not just at how I want my goal to manifest into itself, but look at myself and how I am tripping myself from getting to where I would like to be. So while this definitely burns, it's one of the reasons I love this deck. As soon as I realized it was definitely more of a personal deck than a people deck, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely gives me the kick in the tail that, while painful, it's a level of honesty that I need to get to penetrate through my very, very stubborn skull. But got time for one more. Collective read, and then I think I'm going to be jumping off here and go pretend to adult in other places when in reality, I'm not going to lie. Slacker. But I think for our final collective read, I'm going to give us a bit of a meditation card. And the meditation is going to be what energy from my goddess deck. You've probably seen it on my self-care reels. If not, then you are definitely in for a treat. Definitely go pick yourself out one and see what kind of answer you get. But for this meditation for tonight, since, Libra full moon, let's see what energies we need to either embody or unblock to help us get that emotional alignment back on. Because while I'm totally down for all the other things you can get from a full Libra moon, as far as the moon water, to be able to use it in certain rituals and manifestations, at the same time, I also believe that sometimes we need to open ourselves or unblock ourselves when it comes to our energy fields. So as far as tonight's meditation, it looks like we have an interesting thing going on here. Looks like we've got a bit of a pick a card kind of a night. So Depending on which one you are most drawn to, whether it's A, B, or C, I want you to focus on that and we'll go through each one of them in order. So when you're ready, comment A, B, or C, and we will definitely get started. And for those of you that went A, the energy that you need to embody is Lady Athena. Her message: you know what to do. Trust your inner wisdom and take appropriate action without delay. So, more or less, my dear, to get that emotional harmony back, you need to start embodying the idea that yes, you already know the answer. Yes, you know what to do. You just got to do it. So, maybe ask yourself, why are you constantly second guessing yourself? Why do you not trust your judgment on how to ensure your emotional harmony? Something to think about, my darling. For those of you that were B, you have Nematona. Her message: create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. So it looks like for your emotional alignment to get back on track, what you need to do is tap back into faith. Now, whether that is a faith that you fell out of, or maybe find a faith that's more aligned with your current life, whatever that means for you, tap back into it. Tap back into the source and start letting yourself reconnect. Because at one time you were connected. Maybe tonight's journal should be: why did you lose faith? And how can you start working your way back? And last but absolutely not least, our sea people. The energy that you need to embody is Abuntia. Her message is: the universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving. So what this is telling me, for those of you that chose C or were drawn to C for your emotional alignment meditation or journal for tonight, why aren't you letting yourself have emotional alignment? What is it that you're either doing consciously or subconsciously that is keeping you from being balanced? Are you afraid of it being snatched away? I am sorry, but nothing in life stays the same. Have you ever seen the ocean stay still? Our lives are no different. And if it's a subconscious thing, what is it about emotional balance that is so terrifying that you chose to block it? Because it looks like you could have it in buckets and buckets and buckets, but you're blocking you. I would take some time on thinking about that and maybe even talking to my own spirit guides. But if for any of these you would like a more in-depth reading, feel free to send me a direct message on Facebook or Instagram, or use the scheduler link in the channel bio. I will be available until about midnight tonight for personal readings. If it is after a certain time, though, you'll have to skip the scheduler and just send me a DM. I will be keeping an eye on them all night. Or full moons are 3 days, so the energy is useful for 3 days. Catch me on a time that works best for you. But until then, I'm going to go pretend to be a responsible adult in other places in my life. Wish me luck. I am an overgrown child. And I hope all of you have the best night with this Libra moon. Have an excellent start with your journal tonight. And most importantly, a fabulous week. See all of you soon.